Hiya. Third time. First time, I did a whole review. I did it both times. I did a whole review, and when I was doing a gag with and I hit the back button, which means it didn't save for some reason. It still should have saved. I recorded it. But anyway, then I did another review, added some stuff I didn't have in the other one, and it wasn't recording. I'm not going to stop doing reviews, you know me. This happens, okay? It hasn't happened in a while like this, but it happens. Just making sure. So, we're talking about the Grudge 2. I like this better than the first one, but although having talked about this twice now, I'm getting kind of sick of talking about it, but we'll get to it. And I wish I could have had the first take, because I tried to come around this way to do it, and I bumped I almost knocked the chair over, bumped this, knocked some of the background over. It was funny. But no, we're stuck with this one. Hopefully. So, like the first one, this movie is told in a non-linear way, which means the events aren't told chronologically. I will be talking about them chronologically, so let's get into it. The first thing we need to talk about is the continuation of Karen's story from the first film. She's still in the hospital. Her sister is sent by her mother to go get her or to check on her or something. And when this happens, eventually Karen is chased by Kayako onto a roof, and she's pulled off the roof by Kayako. This first part, there's not really much that goes on, which is why it's dispersed in between the other ones, because there's more going on with those. But it's basically then Aubrey trying to find what really happened with Karen, and what happened. She connects with a Japanese man named Isan, and then they both end up going to the house at one point or another. And Isan's death. This movie is visually, it's got great visuals. All right, like the camera, where they move the camera and stuff. Like there's a scene where it's Ethan's death scene, right? And he's in his dark room, developing the film that he took at the house or whatever. And Kayako comes out of the developing little tub there, and she's just kind of like, and then she raises up as the camera pivots down to the other side of Isan, and she just, and then grabs her. The next thing you see is Aubrey sleeping on the couch. She goes to see what's going on with Isan. It's the next morning, of course. She goes in. He's dead. She hugs him, and then arms come around, and it's Kayako. And then just like, she backs away, and it's Isan again. And then the camera like pivots to the side of her, of Aubrey, and you see every picture is just Kayako going. It's very creepy, very good. And this part of the story ends with Aubrey going back to the house to figure out what happened. She finds the ghost of Kayako's husband, and he kills her the same way he killed Kayako, which makes her an Onryo now. So, then we cut to teenage girls, American teenage girls in Japan. One's Japanese, but it's Allison, who we're gonna follow in this, Miyuki, and Teresa Palmer's character. And yeah, so they go into the house. It's a trick. They they lock Allison in the closet, and you see what appears to be Kayako coming out after her. And then she freaks out, and the next thing they're at school, and they talk about going in the house, and Miyuki then goes on a date with her boyfriend to a hotel where she is taken by Kayako. And it's I just realized this, alright? Kayako is killing people in the first part, in the first section, the with Aubrey. In this one, she is taking people, and in the third one, it's affecting people, making them act weird. I don't know. But, different interpretations, I guess. So, Miyuki is taken when she's at the hotel with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is in the shower, she's in the bed, and she thinks Michael's playing with her underneath the covers, but it's Kayako, and you think they're going to do the same thing they did in the first one, but they don't because she backs up against the mirror, and all of a sudden Kayako comes through the mirror and takes her. Michael comes out, that's the boyfriend, and see, she's gone, you're looking for her, can't find her, and this is mentioned at the session between, you get Allison and Teresa Palmer's character talking to a counselor. And then Teresa Palmer's character is left alone, and Kayako comes after her. She goes to a phone booth where, and again, great visual. She's standing there, she got her blonde hair, it starts to turn black, and then hands come out and grab her, completely covered in hair, whatever. Great, she's taken. And then it's just Allison with the counselor in one of the sessions, and the counselor says, I've been to the house, and I didn't see anything. And Allison said, you've been to the house? And then the counselor turns into Kayako, and love that. Do the spinny camera thing where it pans and turns into Kayako. They did that again in the third one. I'll mention that when we get to it. But if I ever get to it, I'll ever finish this review and get it done. For 3 times. Anyway, and that's basically the end of Allison's story. We don't see what happens until the end of this last part. And I kind of like to start this section, as I had the last 2 times I tried to review this, with how the movie starts. And it's the husband and wife, the stepmom, and the dad yelling at each other. Well, not yelling, but he's bitching, complaining. She brings him breakfast. He holds up a piece of sausage and says he can get a decent fucking breakfast. She pours the grease on his head, and then she whacks him upside the head with the pan, which apparently kills him, even though I don't know if you can actually die that way. I don't know, I'm no expert. But then we get to the story, and someone new, a hooded figure, has moved next door to the abandoned apartment, and Jake is interested in finding out who it is, why they're there, stuff like that. And people start to act weird, like the stepmom and the dad in the previous scene I just said. But the freakiest part is where Sarah Romer's character, the sister of Jake, played by Matthew Knight, Sarah Romer goes to see her friend, played by Jenna Dewan, and she's standing there in the door with a half gallon of milk, and she just downs the whole thing that she's got there, and then she starts spitting it back up into there, and then Jake calls Sarah Romer and the sister and says, you need to come home, something's going on. She just says, I gotta go, Jake needs me. And just before she's starting to leave, Gianna Dewan's character starts drinking the milk again. It's really weird, really unsettling. I love it. Right? So eventually Sarah Romer's character gets killed or taken or whatever. And then Jennifer Beals appears in the stepmom appears in the bathtub full of water and says, time for your bath, Jake. And then Jennifer goes, and props to Jennifer Beals for this, because this is amazing. Just I can't do it, but Kayako pushes her down, and it's Kayako. And then, obviously. And then, Jake runs out to the hallway where he sees the hooded figure, and it turns out to be Allison. And then we see a flash of what actually happened. When Aubrey was killed, like I said, she was turned into a new Onryo. The Onryo that was apparently Kayako that attacked Allison was actually Aubrey. And then she got infected and she went back to the United States to get away from there. And she brought it with her, the curse or whatever. And and now it's affected everyone, made them act weird or whatever, but and this again, visuals. Kayako comes in within the sweatshirt, pulls down Allison, she's gone, it's just a sweatshirt. the hoodie, whatever. And when Jake goes to look, hands come out and grab him. And we pick up with that in the third film, which I don't think is as good as this one. It's kind of like Boogeyman 3. I don't really care for it. But it's a part of the series I got to cover it for 31 on 31. And I could be watching that right now, probably a quarter of the way through, if I didn't have to redo this review 2 more times. Alright? But I got more stuff out, so that works. So, I'm going to keep the same number I keep giving it, even though it's gone down and down for me every time I got to keep talking about it. But I give it a 9 out of 10. What are your thoughts on The Grudge 2? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you not care for it at all? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And of course,